Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Omega Ruby. I'm your host, the PokeGamer. In the last episode, we finished off the Delta episode. We caught Rayquaza as well as catching Deoxys. We kind of destroyed the meteorite, saved the world, you know, that kind of fun stuff. Speaking of Rayquaza, it is in our party still because we obviously didn't get to do much after the end of the last episode. So yeah, as you can see, it is a lax nature. There was no attacking or boosting nature, so you can tell by the fact that it did as much damage as it did that Rayquaza is kind of an overpowered Pokemon. So when you come downstairs, you're going to be greeted by your father and your mother, and Mr. Briny apparently dropped something off for us, which is the SS ticket. This ticket will allow us to go to a place called the Battle Resort. So yeah, you can kind of go to the Battle Mason stuff, which is all there. We'll be checking some of that stuff out here momentarily, of course. What we're going to be doing, you want to save here. Like, if you really want to get a good nature on something, you probably want to save there, because the second you walk outside, you're going to be greeted by someone who's in trouble. And the last time we heard this, well, I'm pretty sure you're pretty well aware of what's happening. Instead of a Poochyena this time, he's actually being chased around by a Shroomish. What I don't understand here is that we have 6 Pokemon on our team already, and yet apparently we have to use one of the starters that are in his bag to battle the Shroomish. Now, the starters are definitely not Generation 3, they're now Generation 2. So, yeah, you get to pick any one of these, and of course you will be receiving it as a gift for helping him. So whichever one you want, you need to choose, and, you know, you get to keep. So that's why I said before you leave your house, you want to save, because you'll be greeted by him being in trouble, and you are forced to go over and help him immediately after. So if you don't save before you leave the house, you're gonna have to soft reset to, you know, back when you're just in your room and you don't have to go through all the dialogue again. So just figured I'd give you guys a fair warning on that. And before we actually try to go to the Battle Resort, I want to go here and switch out Rayquaza, because Rayquaza is not going to be a permanent team member. Lax nature or otherwise, this thing's already overpowered. I don't want to you know, use that. We already have 2 Megas on our team anyways, and the only thing that I could ever think to replace on my team for Rayquaza would be Altaria. But I really wouldn't want to do that either. And as you can see, there's the natures for the Deoxys and the Totodile. Totodile being a hardy nature, which is a neutral nature, and then you got Careful. To put into perspective how much damage Deoxys was capable of doing, it had a special attack reducing nature, and all of its attacks were basically special attacks. So just kind of imagine the fact that it wiped out Groudon, Gardevoir, Rayquaza, you know, all these Pokemon, you know. So just figured I'd kind of put that out there. So now you can go to any one of 2 places. I guess, you know, I've always gone to Lily Cove for this, not Slateport, because I think in the older games you actually had to go to Slateport for it. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, or you had to go to Slateport to get to wherever. I think it was, yeah, I think you had to do that through Slateport in the older games. I don't really remember off the top of my head, of course, but yeah. So that's where we're going. We're going to be going here, and then we're going to be going down to the, you know, the docks, I guess, if you want to call it that, the pier, whatever. Talk to her, and you'll show her the ticket, and you now have the option to go to the Battle Resort. So yeah, we get to go and check this place out. Music's great. There's a lot to do here. There's move tutors implemented into Generation 6 now, so people that play X and Y, etc., you now have access to move tutor moves that you probably can't get anymore because your Pokemon bag expired, maybe something like that. So as you noticed probably instantly after we got off the boat, not only was Wally here, but so is Team Aqua. Remember how I mentioned the whole alternate universes, alternate worlds thing? That's going to be brought up yet again. That's going to be brought up again here. Wally, apparently being impatient, just like runs completely through everyone for whatever reason. But, you know, whatever. And, yeah. So, we get to sit through a whole bunch of dialogue. So, obviously we're kind of walking in the same direction, so I end up running into Team Aqua as well. Eventually you'll see Archie talking about how in another world it could have been us that were fighting, you know, rather than us fighting Team Magma. And I think he's about to start, you know, yeah, see, if we lived in a slightly different world, it might have been me and my crew that you had to stop, etc. He's kind of talking as if, you know, as if he actually knows that Alpha Sapphire exists. So it's kind of cool that they implemented something like that into the game as well. Adding a bit of inside knowledge into the game to kind of be like, well, we know that there's other worlds out there, and, you know, I don't know. But keep going through the dialogue and you'll eventually receive the Sharpedo Knight. You get this similarly to how we got the camera update in Alpha Sapphire, and I'm assuming that here you would get the camera update from Archie, or not Archie, but Maxie, you know. So, yeah. And they're just gonna say their little things before they walk off and do whatever. Cool thing is you can actually team up with Maxie or Archie in the Battle Mason. Same applies to Wally. I think Brendan's also an option that you can team up with. I'm not sure if like you can battle them in singles or not. I don't really remember, but I do know that you can team up with them. So yeah. So this guy I think is going to kind of introduce people into the Battle Mason, as you can see, and he kind of points you in the direction of where you can find the Mason. And yes, it's up there. It doesn't look any different than it does in X and Y, so anyone that's played X and Y knows what it kind of looks like. I don't remember if I've gone inside at all yet, even in my own game, so I'm not entirely sure if the interior is much different. It probably isn't. But, so as you saw, this kid here is known as the Daycare Lad. That means that this is not only... This is the second daycare in the game. You can actually do your day... Like, I think that they kind of understood that a lot of players stayed into, the area where the Battle Mason was in X and Y, primarily because it had several things. It had the judge, which we're going to be meeting here momentarily. It had the friend safari, which a lot of people enjoyed using for shiny hunting, and it also had the Mason, which was used for getting battle points, getting specific moves that you wanted, like TMs or whatever. So I mean, there was that. So, like, there was a lot that a lot of people like to stay in that specific area for, and I think they realized that, and then as a result, they know that people like to breed for IVs and whatnot, so they implemented a second daycare here in these games for people that wanted to stay in a specific spot to train up high, like, you know, high IV Pokemon and, you know, stuff like that. They even give you a way to do the same thing that you could do in Lumio City in X and Y, where you can infinitely run around in a circle until your egg's hatched. That is only possible, I think, here in the Battle Resort. So there's another cool aspect that the Battle Resort has. Now, off to the left, you can see a one of those like flower girls, or whatever they're called. I'm not entirely sure. She's a grass type user, guaranteed. I don't think she's ever changed it, so if you want to use like a fire type or a flying type or ice type or whatever, you can just throw it in your lead and battle her. As far as I'm aware, you can battle her once per day, and I think there's maybe one other trainer that does that. I'm not entirely sure. I think there's like a poison one that you can battle every day as well. You'll see us battle a poison trainer later on, but yeah, I know this one you can battle for a fact every day. So, I mean, again, it's just basically all grass types and whatnot. So, I don't know. Maybe it's to kind of help get Pokédex entries, so to speak. Not like actual entries, but see the Pokemon. Because I'm not entirely sure there are certain Pokemon that she has that you just can't see or obtain anywhere else in the game. And they might have had that there just that way you could, you know, kind of see them so that way you might be able to like, get the Oval Charm or something. So, just kind of throwing that out there. I'm not entirely sure what the other reason might be, but yeah. Also, once we finish off the Battle Resort, we will be coming back here temporarily afterwards, because we're going to be... We kind of need to come back here in order to do something that I mentioned a very, very long time ago. Back around when we were in the desert, as well as when we got the ability... I think actually, no, there's something else that we need to do near the Weather Resort. Or not Weather Resort, but the Weather Institute. Because I think that we needed Waterfall for it. So there's two people that we need to talk to. One of them is actually here at the Battle Resort. The other one is near, what's it called? The Weather Institute that we need to talk to, I think. So, and we're going to end up having to change bikes several times to do this. But yeah, I'll have to look into it, see if I have to talk to them in a specific order. I don't think I do, but yeah, we need to talk to these 3 people specifically so we can thoroughly go through the Safari Zone. There's I think like 2, maybe 3 TMs that we can get that we need something specific for, and yeah. So that's something else that we're going to probably do in the next episode. We also need to catch up level 40 Whalmer, which you can get Whalmer 100% in Moss Deep. I think even in Lily Cove as well with the Super Rod. The reason why we need this is because we're going to eventually be going after the Reggies. Like I said, we will be catching legendaries in this Let's Play. I'm not sure to what extent I'm going to catch legendaries. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get Cresselia because it's a random chance. You can't exactly force it to appear by any means. And on top of that, yeah. By the way, this is the one that I went to get Altaria. It's Hyper Voice move. I mentioned this whenever, like a long time ago, that I was going to give it a couple of tutor moves. You can get Heat Wave, you can get Hyper Voice, you can get all the Elemental Punches as well as Drain Punch and even Knockoff. You can get Pain Split, you can get Gravity, all kinds of really useful moves. I mean, there's Recycle for anyone that wants to do that weird crap with Recycle and Sturdy and stuff like that, even though I think it's banned from like all small gun play. So, I mean, there's also Stealth Rocks, Icy Wind, Electro Web's not terrible, I guess. I don't know. There's, you know, things that you can get. But, the person that we need to talk to, I think, is on the complete opposite side of this area. Maybe, like, on an additional turn or something. This is the one thing I don't like about the Battle Resort, is there's these like really like deep sand pits, and you kind of have to just like walk through them really slow. So I don't know. And I kind of forgot that, I don't know why, but like I kind of just spaced on it for a second and forgot that Altaria was my lead. So I had to deal with that, and I also kind of make another mistake here. Later on, I bring in Gardevoir. I bring in Gardevoir thinking, you know, Psychic against Poison is all, you know, all good and whatnot. And then eventually, he brings in Scolipede and Scolipede. Brings in Drapion, and I kind of just like forget what I'm doing for some reason and leave it in. A Poison Dark type. I mean, I have a Swampert that just could Earthquake and do stab super effective damage, but instead I decided that it's a great idea to leave Gardevoir in. I don't know why, but I get punished for it, so and sorry, my mouth felt my mouth felt a little dry, so I took a little bit of a drink there. So it's kind of the end of the episode anyways, almost, so it's not like it's a big deal. But like I said, Drapion, as you can see, I'm like, okay, why not? And then it's like, oh wait. So I go for the Dazzling Gleam, knowing that it's got that super effective against the dark, going for, you know, neutral damage. It goes for the Scary Face here, which, believe it or not, is actually kind of relevant, because now this thing is capable of hitting me with, I think it's Cross Poison, I believe. So I go for the Shadow Ball, thinking, you know, okay, I can kill it, and he full restores. He goes for the Cross Poison now, I believe, and Dazzling Gleam is obviously, of course, you know, within kill range. But look at all the damage that I get to take because of my stupid mistake. So, should have brought in the Swampert. Should have brought in that Swampert. Oh well. And this was also a mistake because apparently Rock Slide's not more than enough damage, but at the same time it was smart because I had -2 speed and Crobat's actually known to be very, very fast, so I didn't want to stay in and risk it just going for some poison move and killing me. So Swampert, yes, was probably the right choice, but at the same time it wasn't. I probably could have just went with Groudon and, you know, used Eruption or something. The problem here is we're basically both using flinch moves, but he obviously outspeeds me, so he does manage to get a flinch, which is annoying, and Rock Slide is just not capable of KOing. For some reason it decides not to go for the Air Slash again. I don't understand, but Rock Slide connects again, which is good, and we managed to kill the Crobat, ending the battle. So basically with that, we're pretty much done for today. As you see, he says, oh, we won't lose next time, so I'm assuming he's one of the daily trainers that you can battle here. But anyways, in the next episode, we're going to finish off the battle resort, work on trying to get the little side quest type of thing out of the way, check out the Safari Zone maybe, and also catch a Wilmer that we need for the Reggies later down the line. So be sure to stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer, signing out.